Welcome back to another chapter of Message Crawler Video Manual. Today we're going to be exploring one of the helper tools that can take Bloomberg XML email and convert that to EML messages. Now this tool isn't essential for RSMF conversion, and I have simply added as it is useful, good to have tool in case you have to deal with Bloomberg emails. Let's jump to my computer and I'll show you how to get started with this tool. Now before you get started converting XML Bloomberg data, you need to organize your data. When you receive this data, it can come to you as miscellaneous collection of zip files, tar files, different logs. It's pretty messy when you get it. And the first thing you should do is to clean up the data. I recommend extracting all the zip files and putting everything in a format like you see on the screen. You have an XML file, which is extracted from a zip file, and then you have a folder which contains all the attachments. Now there should be no further subfolders in this folder. So whenever you extract your att.tar.gz, you should only put attachments in this folder named exactly as the XML name without the extension. Once you have all your data organized and cleaned up, you can go to Message Crawler, go to Miscellaneous Tools, and go to Bloomberg Email Convert XML to EML. Now this tool will convert Bloomberg email. It will not convert Bloomberg instant messages. For that, there is a conversion button right here on top. This only talks about Bloomberg mail. Now, one quick observation here is if you see letter B, that means it's a Bloomberg mail. If it says IB, that means it's an instant Bloomberg and it is not compatible with this specific tool. You need to click this button up here to convert instant messages. So let's perform the conversion. I'm going to click on Import Bloomberg, and I'm going to select my XML, and I'm going to click Open. Now right here on the right, you'll see that it lists that XML file as being loaded to memory. Now we can export this to a DAT file, which is going to be fine if you want to load this to some kind of application or database, or maybe an Excel. So we can see our export here. But we can also export this as EML, which we can specify our path here. Let me just copy and paste that path. And I'm going to paste it here. Now, normally messages will be saved with their Bloomberg ID as a file name. However, you can override that option and say insert date in front of the file name. So when you click on Export EML, all the files will be exported here, and they'll be named by date, underscore, and then Bloomberg ID. And now you can take this data and process it through a normal processing software. So the difference between exporting to a DAT file and EML essentially is you taking your DAT file and you loading it with a desktop client to Relativity or similar utility to your View software. And if you're converting it to EML, you will need to process the data using processing engine. Now, creating that file, of course, is quicker for loading and requires less steps. However, creating EML file and processing with the processing engine allow you to create hash values and perform deduplication on the data. Now, one other option you'll see in Message Crawler says load to grid, and it says right away it's a bad idea. This is an experimental option if you want to see what is inside the XML file. You don't really want to perform this operation or actually create RSMF files from this. However, you can try and see what you get. If you have very short message bodies, it will work, but I don't think it's a great idea. The only thing this button is useful for is to load your XML into grid view, and so you could examine your data before it gets exported to a DAT file or EML and before it gets processed. And that's it for this chapter of Message Crawler Video Manual. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below or send me an email, and I will see you in the next chapter.